Hello everyone, my name is Vlad and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you something that I've been working on. It's a modification of an existing kit that I have put into my city, and that is of course the Avengers Tower. Now, one thing about the Avengers Tower, it normally comes just with the tower itself. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to build the base for it. So that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at the Avengers Tower, my custom base for it, and how I did it, and how I think it really worked out well. So why don't we get started by showing you all the parts when it's taken apart. And here it is, taken apart. So you can see the inside. I'll be going through it and showing you about that. So let's get started right now. So here we are on the street level and the front entrance. What I wanted to do, first of all, I put it on a base plate, on a mill's plate, so it's modular, and it takes up one base plate and a half profile. And I wanted to basically give it as I mentioned, I wanted to give it a look like the tower in the movie, but more unique to what my creation and what I thought would be neat. So I used the dark tan bricks and the light sand tan bricks, and I used a lot of the parts from the first kit. And if you go inside here, I basically took the, as you can see, the desk that came with the set right here, and the decoration in the back, I kept that the same right there. What I did do is I added a bathroom. So if we take to the top, here's a bathroom in the main floor, and I expanded the elevator to be square, because I never liked the elevator being right up against the wall. It kind of leads up to your imagination that there is an elevator there, but there really isn't. What I also did is I took the soda machine that came with it, and I added a candy bar machine, and I added in the area that came with the 2 chairs. I put the 2 chairs in, and I also put a sofa, the same color, style, and a table there, and some lamps and some plants, just to make it look a little bit more livelier. And here the Hulk is looking over, just about ready to stomp onto the table. So I added a few nice stories to it. So that's what I did with the inside. And best of all, I made an Avengers sticker. So right when you walk in, you see the Avengers logo. And that you can see through the front doors as well. So as you walk by, you know that's the Avengers Tower. And in terms of the outside architecture, I used a combination of tan and light sand tiles. And if I turn it around here, you can see it from this angle. And then this angle right here. Now, and I used the back door just from the original kit, and the back alley, which is same as the Daily Bugle, kind of a rough, broken asphalt. So there it is. Now in terms of the inside, what I did do is I added some columns. So as an engineer, for those who don't know, my profession is a mechanical engineer, but I kind of have a good idea of support structure. So what I did do is I added 4 supports, 1 here, 1 there, the elevator is 1, and 1 over here. And I tied it into the side of the building here. And as you can see, the side of the building also has some, it's just not one deep settings. There's some of the columns on the sides. They're connected right to the side of the side, so it makes it very strong. As you can see, it's really strong. It doesn't flex, which is very important. So in the combination of beams on the side and columns, and these 4 columns are fundamental because they hold up the rest of the building and the weight. And you'll see what I did with the floor above it, because I made it basically very uniformly distributed, the weight uniformly distributed, which is what you want in a building. So if you go up there, you can see the 4 columns. And some rebrickable kits I've seen, and no offense to those, I really like them and I really think they're awesome. But some of them have columns that go all inside here. And I wanted to basically put the columns out of the way, so the inside takes precedence, just like in a building. You don't walk in and there's a column in the middle of the building. So that's just me and my engineering logic. The other thing I did is I put all around. You can see where the next floor will connect to, and I have these finishing pies. I guess they call them triangles, or I can't remember the name offhand, but I put them all the way around, so it keeps the so it's like a lid. It's like a lid, and it keeps everything solid. It's really solid. For the entrance, I wanted it a little bit more glamorous, but not too glamorous. I didn't overdo it in terms of detail. I don't want to make the building too fancy, but I wanted to give a sort of an indication to the building, and I used the same. I ordered a whole bunch of the glass. This is the dark smoked glass and the gray window panes to match the building right there. So, and then what I also did is outside I put a couple of plants and benches, and of course I put all the Marvel characters around, so they're all fighting in the streets, kind of like a action plan, and just to tell a lot of stories, and as you can see, somebody's actually fond of soda pop. So that's the first level, and it's, like I said, it's very rock solid, very robust, doesn't move, and that lays down the foundation. So let's move on to the second floor. Now, the second floor, I wanted to make more of the traditional building that you see in all the shots in the photographs, where it's straight and it has beveled edges. I originally made the bevel edges a lot more, but then I found that it was started to take more from the inside. And when I put the tower on, I needed space. So I redid it, and I think it looked really good. I put one brick in between all the windows this time, as opposed to this one that has them in pairs. And I think it turned out really nice, and it complements the bottom. Now, as you notice, I have the same 4 columns mounted to the wall, and I have some bricks here that keep everything solid, and some rest places for the top of the ceiling. So all the weight sits on here, here, and here. So it's basically distributed, and again, the columns are out of the way. Now you're wondering about the inside. That's the story behind that. I originally was going to make it just a kind of a sofa lounge area, but then I thought, well, what about Tony Stark? Doesn't he like to sing? Well, secretly he likes to sing. He likes to sing karaoke, so I made a little private karaoke area. And if I turn it around, it even has complete sofas, pizza, hot dogs, where the Avengers can relax, plants. It even has lights for the stage, lighting. And the stage itself is very detailed. It has a piano, guitars, a mic, and some speakers right there. So you can see Tony Stark belting out the tunes. And whether he can sing or not, that's left to the eyes of the beholder. And maybe this will inspire a karaoke version of Avengers. And of course, in the corner here where the elevator is, it matches up to the bottom elevator. There's a bathroom too. Gotta have a bathroom. And there's a bar with cookies, pop, and lots of liquor, because Tony likes to keep his bars nice and stocked, especially a certain member of the Avengers likes to drink a lot. And there's also a water cooler in the corner. And so lots of detail. I also left the kind of the balcony down to where the seating area is open. So if the building is open after hours and they're doing karaoke, you can hear it all the way downstairs, and people either enjoy it or they don't. So that's the Secret Avengers karaoke lounge, and I think it turned out really nice. And again, What I did do is I have a removable ceiling, and the columns, as I mentioned, lined up, so it's nice and solid, and everything is through the middle. So I could actually, when I put this on top, when I put my fingers on the column, I can almost support half my weight or even more on the columns. They're very strong. So that's the, here's the side view and the back view. It's pretty uniform. And just one other thing too, I mentioned I would talk about the ceiling. If I bring it around, if I bring it to the bottom here, you can see that there's a lattice of support that go on these beams. So these 1 by 2 brick wide and with plates make a lattice that's very strong and distribute the support on the building. So the whole building is taking the weight, not just the columns. And that's basically based on me and my engineering principles. I just got to try to make it as realistic as possible. And just a brief thing on I have a kind of a ceiling component. This is the ceiling. It has the pie-shaped wedges again. That's what they're called, wedges. And it goes all the way around. And if you notice, the tower sits on here and the base. Now the base on the tower is also using brick, so it's very strong. And again, all the weight is distributed. And here in these corners, as you notice, that's where the columns sit. So they sit on a very strong base, and that sits on top. So there's no sagging. I can pick up the whole thing, although I wouldn't dare do that. And this thing fits right on top of this thing. And as you can see, it's indented in here, so it'll sit on there. And finally, the Avengers Tower itself. Now, mainly it's based on the kit. Not much changed. I did do some modifications that I'll quickly go over. One of the first things I did is I had to shorten the antenna. There were 2 antennas. I made 1 antenna. And the reason for it is because I basically reached this height of the ceiling. So this is my tallest building right now. And the one thing I did, obviously, is I took the reception area out because this thing sits on top of the base. So I added just windows all along here and in the front. And then what I want to do, it is an office building too. So instead of the reception area, I have actually a office area where technicians, and you can see they have their specialized computers, lamps, and there's some cubicles, and there's a supervisor office over there. And the elevator does go down 1 stud, so it's instead of 6 by 6, it's 5 by 6. But as you can see, basically the elevator goes all the way 5 by 6 to the top. So I wanted to basically make it more realistic, which provided a challenge because I had to offset all the actual interiors. And as I mentioned, I used a very solid base, as you can see. I can pick it up by here and it doesn't bend. So everything sits on top of here, which sits on top of the supports, which sits on top of that. So it's really solid and engineered really well, I must say, if I say so myself. And you can see here through the windows, you might be able to see the office here in the corner. Otherwise, all the interiors stayed the same. I just offset them. Here's the second floor of the office tower, the lab, and except it's offset by the elevator. And here, this is the Iron Man's little chamber, and again, it's offset by the elevator. This one was a little bit more challenging because I had to put the interior offset, and it just barely fit. And then the top, nothing changed there. So basically, that's the tower. So why don't we assemble it, and then you'll see what it looks like. And I really like it. I think I captured the spirit of the set and the likeliness in Lego of what it represents in the movies. It's very similar, but it does have my own little design and taste to it. So I think it turned out really well. All right, let's assemble the building. So first we take the second floor and we place it in between all the wedges. And it's a little tricky sometimes to get it in exact right off the bat. There we go. And now we just press it down to sit on the studs. And there it is, nice and solid. And I can put all my weight on here and all the columns take it, so that works out really nice. If I grab the camera and zoom it over here, you can see the lobby area that's open to the bottom over here. From the karaoke area that's kind of open like a balcony so they can look down. But then generally karaoke is after hours, so usually there isn't anybody there, but you never know. All right, so now that we have the second floor on, we grab the ceiling and put that in. And that's sometimes a little tricky to get in because the walls are, so we have to pounce open the walls a little bit sometimes just to get it to sit in there. Okay, I've got it all in there except for the edges here on the very end. There we go. So it slides in there, and again you can see it's nice and solid. I can put a lot of weight on those columns, and the roof is nice and solid. So the building is solid. As you can see, it's wobbling the table. Now what I'm going to do is take the Avengers Tower, pick it up, and I have to move it a little bit so I don't hit the ceiling. So this one I can grab from the edge here, and then grab the side, and take it around here, take around the lamp, and then pick it up. And then it just sits on those finishing tiles. So should just ease nice and gently on there. There we go. And there you go. It's sitting nice and solid. And here it is, the base assembled on my table. And the Avengers Tower sitting on it. I think it really gives it a lot more character. And gives it a lot more height, definitely, because when you think about it, this thing is really high. And here it is, placed in the city. It's right next to the Daily Bugle. I thought the Daily Bugle was tall. This is really tall because you can see right now, it's all the way to the ceiling. Right here, the antenna is just barely touching. And I think it's now my tallest skyscraper for now, and it should be because it is the Avengers Tower. And here it is sitting on the subbase, and with trees and the sidewalk and all the activity. I think it looks really good. And it's sitting next to the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Doctor Strange apartment. And I think it looks really good, right next to the Daily Bugle as well. And it's worked out really well. So that is the Avengers Tower with the custom base built around it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Next I'm going to work on the newer section, and I'll take you along on the journey. So if you like this video and enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time. So have a great day.